What's up, guys? Welcome to the We Don't Know Ball podcast. Finally, after much anticipation, we're finally getting an episode, our pilot episode, off the air. My name is Jules, also known as Juelzcompton. Here with Retro, and here with Justin. Um, for the people who don't know, we as a collective group are all sports fans, obviously by what we're wearing. And where my kind of specificity comes in is basically basketball. I'm a basketball historian, and I've been doing it for a short period of time on TikTok, but I've been gaining a lot of ground lately. But over the past like 4.5 months or so, I was able to meet Justin here, and we started going up. He started coming up on my lives and us talking about basketball. And ironically, one day I switched it to football because I fully admit I'm a casual and I don't know ball about football. And Retro came in and we had a pretty good debate when we were talking about football. Since then we kind of grew close collectively and decided that, hey, why not try to start something? So yeah, I mean, by all means, Retro, what do you think?
Yeah, basically like what you said. I noticed very quickly when I came into the TikTok community that 90-ish% of the lives that I went on were rage bait, crazy topics, things that were absurd, things like for example that Kyrie is better than CP3. You just have some crazy stuff on TikTok, and so going through all of these different lives and stuff, I didn't really find a place where I felt like I could get genuine conversation. And then one day I went up on Jules Live and we talked some NFL, and I thought it was really, really fun. And so I decided to continue coming up on those lives. And like you said, we Justin was there, and me, Justin, and Jules talked a lot. And yeah, we grew pretty close collectively. And I think this is a great idea. I think it's going to be lots of fun. I'm super excited to talk some more ball, and yeah, I'm happy to be here. So thanks for having me, Jules.
Yeah.
Boys, I'm so excited. I can't fucking wait, bro. Pilot episode. We went through trial and tribulation to get here, months and months of talking about it and not being about it, and finally we're here. And oh man, I can't, dude. Basketball ended, TikTok got stale. We finally were deciding, hey, football's coming. Let's get into it. Let's pilot it. Let's do this. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but like preseason sucks, but I'm amped for football season.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yep.
Like, I couldn't be more excited. I mean, unfortunately, to people that are fans of teams that were lower teams last year, I mean, we're looking like it's same animal but different beast. So like it's gonna be a repeat. We're gonna see the same couple of teams in the playoffs this year. We might have one or two changes, but that's the way history's been going so far. And I mean, I think a good place for us to start with that is going to be in, I think, all of our best judgment, the most competitive division in football right now, which is going to be the AFC West.
Yeah, and just right before we get into that, just want to say for everybody watching, listen, okay? I don't care if you're a Browns fan, a Giants fan. I don't care. Week 1 hasn't started yet. Get delusional. Start pushing 17-0 Super Bowl agendas. It's time to get lit, and it's time.
Unless you're a Giants fan, you guys might win a game. More power to you if you win 2. I think if you're a Giants fan and you love your team, but you also like money, I'd go bet your under for the year because y'all got it rough.
Yeah, but you know what? All right, so hopping into the AFC West, this division is obviously loaded. In my opinion, this is the best division. Sans the Raiders, they don't exist. But outside of the Raiders, you've got the Chiefs, obviously coming off of a Super Bowl appearance. In my opinion, I think they'll probably win the division. I think the Chiefs are they're absolutely amazing. Have been for years. While Mahomes is there, there's always that chance that they're in another Super Bowl. So, the Broncos, who have just now recently stacked up on even more defensive players. You've got Talanoa Hufanga coming in, Jahdae Barron out of the draft. That defense is looking nasty. And I think that if everybody stays healthy, Jahdae Barron turns out to be what he's supposed to be, that combined with the guys like RJ Harvey that are now coming into the room to try to help out that running back room and stabilize the run game. The Broncos are looking really good. I have them going 13-4 and also making the playoffs. And then the Chargers, who are coming into their second year under Jim Harbaugh. Last time Jim Harbaugh was in his second year with an NFL team, he made the Super Bowl. With this Chargers team, I'm not saying they're going to make it to the Super Bowl or anything like that, but what I am saying is I think they'll also make the playoffs. With new additions of Omarion Hampton and Najee Harris, I think that Jim Harbaugh now has his backs. He loves running the football, establishing that run game, and that's way up his alley. And you've got guys like Lad McConkey coming into his second year. You've got Justin Herbert, who's obviously Justin Herbert. All these things considered, I think the Chargers will probably also make the playoffs. I have them going 12-5. Like I said, the Raiders are kind of in a rough spot, but I mean, they have Ashton Genty, so congrats on that. I guess maybe you guys can do like the Ricky Williams strat where you put him at Wildcat, and you just run Wildcat all season, and maybe, hey, who knows, but they're probably winning like 3 games this year.
Yeah. No, Ashton Genty is not. I think Ashton Genty is going to be he's going to be one of those guys that goes down as one of the most overhyped rookies, because everyone that, like I said, hasn't played enough to see it. 3 carries for -1 yard in a preseason game. Yikes. But, like, this dude is not the answer. This is not the answer. Like, there are so many more problems on their team. They just paid Max Crosby unbelievable money that, yes, he deserves, but not with that team. They refuse to pay anybody else. They let all their big-name players that they need go, like trading Devontae, understand, unhappy, whatever, this, that. But G&T's not going to be it, and I've made the comparison with G&T a lot because of what I've watched, and, like, a lot of people do not like me for it because the kid hasn't played it down yet. I've said G&T is just another Tariq Cohen. He's fast, he's athletic, he runs east to west very well, but he's also a very good north to south guy. It depends when he wants to use the north to south part of things. It's just I don't see it for the Raiders, not this year, not next year, not in they need help. They need help. They're not the worst team in the league, but they need help. As far as that goes, I mean, Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, I'm a little different than you guys. I got the Broncos winning the division, but I have all 3 of those teams staggered by a game. I got Kansas City regressing 2 games from last year from 15-2 to 13-4. I got the Chargers winning 1 more game than they did last year from 11-6 to 12-5. I literally think that the Broncos, with the moves they've made, as long as Bo Nix avoids a sophomore slump, they can be the truth. They can be the team to come out of the West and be scary. They can be the team that threatens these other teams that are fringe teams. Like your Cincinnati's, your Pittsburghs that get in. If they have to play them right away, I wouldn't want to be them.
That's a fair thing. So just to hit on a couple points. For me, I don't have the Chiefs regressing. I still have them at 15-2 because I have one of their losses against the Bills this year, and historically in the regular season, the Bills have always won against the Chiefs the past couple years. So I think that's kind of just like a walk in the park. And I have them losing against the Texans in an upset game. But other than that, I think you guys are a little bit overvaluing Bo Nix. I'm a believer of sophomore slumps. I do think that Sean Payton is such a great coach that he could maybe overcome it. But Bo Nix isn't necessarily in the position with the weapons that he has to make that giant leap that everybody's predicting. And I just don't think everything is good, but it's not great. And if he had something great, I would be on this bandwagon. But I don't necessarily see it. I do have them winning going to the wild card at 10-7, comparatively to the fraud Los Angeles Chargers. So let's talk about this really quick. Fuck Jim Harbaugh and fuck his whole culture. I do not care over the fact that he is a culture guy and that everybody thinks he's a winner. Didn't do it in Michigan, and he had to fucking cheat to win. I don't care.
Hey, Jules, besides the national championship, how many days has it been since Ohio State's beat Michigan? Just curious.
Go fuck yourself. So,
All right,
anyways, so when Jim Harbaugh was at his quote unquote peak of his coaching career, people obviously forget about the 49ers stint. And yes, they always had good records. He went to one Super Bowl, and everybody just talks about after the lights went out, what happened. Okay, yeah, they made a great comeback, but it still ended up losing. What he contributes is capping his quarterbacks because he believes in running the football. And somebody who's like as talented as Justin Herbert doesn't need a cap. He needs to let somebody off his leash and just let him go. And what Jim Harbaugh's doing to Justin Herbert should be a national crime, and he should be in jail. So that's my feelings about it.
Well, I
I
agree
do
to
think
that. I agree to that point for a certain extent that Harbaugh caps him. That's why I think I'm so high on Denver because let's be real. At the end of the day, we know what Sean Payton's past has been, and he's had scandal, this, that, and the other thing. But one thing Sean Payton is a winner, and I think that mentality and mindset with his coaching can actually catapult Bo Nix to avoid the sophomore slump. That's where I'm so confident in. Is crazy enough, I actually believe in Sean Payton.
Well, and Jules, I actually do want to clarify it because I'm actually known at like kind of like around the space as a Bo Nix hater. I don't think that that Bo Nix will have like a huge jump. I don't even know if he'll have a jump. He might just stay the same. My whole thing is I believe Bo Nix is going to be as good as his weapons. I think that's where he is. I think he's a system quarterback. I think he was that way at Oregon. I don't see anything that shows me that he's like a special talent. However, I think because his team around him is so good, maybe not necessarily on the offensive end, the weapons aren't quite there. If that defense goes to where we think is going to, and Sean Payton is a genius in his systems, if he can just scheme people open to a decent amount, you get Cortland Sutton involved, maybe RJ Harvey is the guy you've been missing at your running back. That's really all they need to make a really solid run. I'm not saying Bo Nix is going to have a jump. He might even regress, but I don't know if it'll matter that much because we've seen teams like, for example, the Broncos of old with Peyton Manning's corpse that won the Super Bowl because the no-fly zone was so good. So I think that for me, looking at this Broncos team, I don't think Bo Nix is actually going to be the difference maker. I think the difference maker will be the defense and Sean Payton, and maybe Cortland Sutton if he takes a jump.
I don't think, like I said, I agree. I don't think he'll be the difference maker, but I'll tell you right now, like I said, with that defense and Sean Payton's ability to scheme people open, Bo Nix is going to have the ball in his hands a lot more than people think this year, and he's going to have way more attempts to beat grade. So his numbers may quote unquote go down in like pass percentage, QBR type stuff like that, but I think his yards and touchdowns honestly might go up just because of that.
I don't again I don't know. You both bring up decent points. I'm not a Bo Nix hater, I guess, if we want to put a label on it. I'm more of
You're
the
an Oregon
realism.
hater?
Well, yeah, fuck Oregon too. But anyways, I don't think that you said it perfectly, Retro. I think he's just as good as his weapons. And the weapons all there are, again, I think are good. They're not great. If they were to upgrade just because I do think that Sutton is a wide receiver one, but like a low wide receiver one, then I would be a little bit more sold on this team. But
I would say, just to add on to that Sutton point, I would even say I'd rather have like a T. Higgins, for example, than a Cortland Sutton.
yeah,
There's a couple wide receiver twos that I might even prefer. He's a wide receiver one. He's just borderline, I think.
I agree. And to finish up my point, because I didn't talk about the Seattle Raiders, where I think we are somewhat undervaluing, because we talk about the impact of Sean Payton and what the impact of Jim Harbaugh. Even though I'm not a big Jim Harbaugh guy, I'm not even a Pete Carroll guy, being a Hawks fan. But I do think that where the Raiders kind of need is to find an identity, and they're trying to find an identity in the wrong way in getting Genty. Because Pete Carroll is basically going to run that guy into the ground within the first 4 years. He still believes in 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But I do think he can contribute some type of where you should be leading into the right direction. But I just don't know if the right direction is as clear as just getting Pete Carroll and getting a whole bunch of vets from the Seattle Seahawks just to make them relevant.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, going off that, I mean, think about it this way: is like you say they need to find an identity, and that kind of like brings me to like the AFC North, because you got 2 to 3 teams in that division that need to find an identity. You got one front runner, you got 2 guys middle of the pack fighting for a wild card spot that really don't know what their identity is. I mean, you can say Cincinnati identity is, oh well, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase is out there somewhere. Like, you can say that's their identity. Pittsburgh, you can say that Mike Tomlin going 500 every year is our identity. Sounds like 2 teams with an absolute identity crisis on figuring out how to get over the hump.
Yeah, and just to, real quick, just to touch on the Raiders one last time, is one other thing I wanted to say, and then I'll get to AFC North. I just wanted to say for the Raiders' identity crisis, because I think it's important. You also, you talked about the Genti thing. My other thing is, I think that they really kicked the can down the road by getting Geno, because if you're the Raiders and you want to establish a new identity, I feel like it would be a lot better of an idea to kind of just like stick with a bad quarterback, get your running back of the future, and then get a low draft pick, and then get your actual identity in your quarterback. But
yeah, just sign guys to 1-year deals like Pittsburgh's about to do with Aaron Rodgers, and just kick the can down the road and pray to God that, Will Howard pans out to be the next big man.
Exactly. But yeah, in the AFC North, yeah. So the Ravens, I think, are kind of the clear-cut favorite. That team roster is loaded.
Agreed.
The construction is insane. I mean,
second best team on paper.
Yeah, and I mean, across the board, you've got insanity at every position, basically, besides receiver. But you look at that team, and you've got new additions like Malachi Starks, who will now be a safety alongside Kyle Hamilton, which is nasty. You've got
Are they the best safety duo in football?
If he is what he is supposed to be this year, yeah, they'll be the best safety duo in football. And you've got Mike Green coming off the edge, and he looks like he's going to be nasty already. The flexion in his ankle, how quick he can turn around a corner. People are already comparing that kind of movement to Von Miller, and people are seeing that kind of pass rush ability, so that'll be fun to watch. But besides the Ravens, you kind of mentioned these other teams are having identity problems. The Bengals, I mean, they've got an offense that's kind of their identity, but then where's the defense? You don't even see a want from the owner to sign anybody. He's having this dispute with Trey Hendrickson. It took him so long to sign their rookie in Shamar Stewart. That's not even getting out that much money. And then when it comes to like your wide receiver too, and T Higgins, like, oh yeah, sure, got you, brother. Here's your contract. Oh, Jamar Chase, you want to be the highest paid receiver in the league? Here's your contract. But God forbid Jermaine Pratt wants a deal. You're a team captain and the guy that was top 10 in tackles, right? Yeah, screw you, Jermaine. You're out of here. So it's just their identity is a problem. And then, yeah, the Steelers, you mentioned it, Justin, and I'm so sorry, but unfortunately the Steelers' identity is being just good enough so that Mike Tomlin doesn't get fired, but just bad enough that you don't get any good draft pick, so you're not really improving. You're kind of just stagnating at the exact same place every year, and that's kind of a problem there. But I expect the Steelers to be 9-8 as per usual, so at the very least you'll have a winning record. And then the Browns, they're the
Browns. Yeah, I mean, I got them repeating at 10-7 again. I mean, they do have a relatively easy schedule. Like, it's pretty relative. I mean, the teams I have them losing to, I have them losing to New England in week 3 for the simple fact that Pittsburgh either starts really hot or just doesn't start at all. And then I got them losing divisionally to the Bengals, but then the teams I got them losing to after that, I mean, Buffalo, Baltimore, Detroit, and Baltimore. Like, teams that are head and shoulders clearly better than they are.
So 2 things. Like, I actually disagree, and I think that for the Steelers this year, I think it's finally going to be the blow up year that you guys have been waiting for a long time. Like, so this is where I'm at. Is that yes, Aaron Rodgers last year going to be retirement tour, and he's going to do whatever he wants, or basically whatever he wants. But Tomlin still writes a tight ship. But I do see the implosion of what is probably inevitable to happen with the drama of what Aaron Rodgers is and has been his whole life for Pittsburgh, who doesn't like drama or anything like that. I don't think that he has it. He doesn't have the mobility that he has anymore. And with now basically just DK Metcalf, you don't have the weapons, the plethora down your roster. So I actually I haven't wrote it down, but I truly believe probably by like week 10 or week 11, this new Big Ben that you're talking about, Will Howard, is going to be starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I do think that even though he probably won't win that many games, that I think for the future that the Will Howard Steelers is probably going to be at least maybe at minimum a bridge to see where you guys are going to go there. And to also touch on the Bengals, I truly believe that they're going to be the. I don't know if it's going to be the first in NFL history because Retro, you can correct me. They're going to be the first one to be the 33rd ranked defense. It is absolutely atrocious. I think their identity is basically offense, like we just mentioned. Joe Burrow is going to probably. I predict them. He's going to be a 5,000-yard passer, and then basically lose 45-38. Lose 38-35, just like we saw last year. There's no way in hell you're going to convince me that defense is going to stop the Giants or the Saints even. Like there's going to be bad teams who roll on this defense. Like I have both the Steelers and the Bengals at 6-11. I think it's going to be more clear cut than we think. And then it's the Browns. Then that's it.
That's it. Yeah. I mean,
just
here's my thing with that. I mean, I can get behind the whole like frustration with the Steelers, but we got to remember, I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. Never have been, never claimed to be, never will. But I have to respect the man's game. Granted, he's a very good long ball talent. He's also just a very good quarterback. And with the addition of Jonnu Smith to add to Pat Freiermuth, you're giving him not one, but two very good check down options. That's what scares me, is we could actually be okay with having one wideout and two checkdowns, and Rodgers could be dropping 3-yard passes off every play, and we could, like I said, we can squeak above 500, and I don't want to squeak above 500. I want this to be the losing season. I want us to rebuild. I don't understand the whole Minkah Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey trade. Why are we trading the guy who's already carrying our defense for a regressing corner who is 2-3 years shelf life left, honestly? Minka's got at least 5, so why would we trade the guy who's leading our secondary for a corner who 6 years ago was good? This is the equivalent of when Darrelle Revis left. Like, this is literally when Darrelle Revis left. Oh my god, you can't make trades like this and think it's gonna work, whether it's for cap or nothing. But it's like it just doesn't make sense. Like I said, frustrating time as a Steelers fan to be a Steelers fan, because at the end of the day, Tomlin's going to keep his job. Rodgers isn't going to be bad enough to. It's rough. I wish I was in either one of your positions. I do.
And just to address the Bengals thing, because I think it's also like it's kind of insane, like how bad it was last year. They went 9-8, and it was either in 5 or 6 of their games that they lost. Their defense allowed over 30 points. Like Joe Burrow is out here like throwing for 300, 400 yards every single game, and that defense is literally just abysmal. And here's the thing. The defense got worse. Like Trey Hendrickson hasn't been re-signed yet. Your guy that got top 10 in tackles and your team captain for your defense, Jermaine Pratt, he's gone now. So like at this point, I don't know, what did you add? You added Shamar Stewart, who's a raw prospect. He only had a few sacks in college. The only reason why he was picked high is because of his prospect rating in the combine, because of how high he did. So you've got a raw talent in him. If Trey Hendrickson isn't there, God help you, because there was no defense last year. I guess now, I think Jules, you're right. Now they have a negative defense, so they're going to be 33rd, because at this point it's like, yeah, there's nothing left.
Well, as much as things change, they stay the same. And that I can say the same thing about the AFC South. We can do the exact same thing there. They're going to stay in order. They got a top team, a team right behind them, and 2 teams at the bottom that just don't play good football right now. You got Houston with C.J. Stroud, hopefully a bounce-back year, getting all of his weapons back. You got the Colts, who have a quarterback identity crisis with a quarterback who doesn't even want to play football, who needs a break halfway through. You got the Titans and Jacksonville, who just, well, quite frankly, couldn't even beat the number 10 team in the country in the CFB. So, like, it's just, it is what it is. I mean, like I said it at the beginning of this podcast, as some things change, many of them stay the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is definitely one of them. Houston is, to me, the clear-cut winner in this division.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really cannot see a reality. It's like Doctor Strange when he saw into the multiverse and saw a million realities. In all of those million realities, there's not a reality the Texans don't win this division. These teams are not good. The Jaguars, you can say, yes, they have Travis Hunter. That's true. But Travis Hunter doesn't play quarterback. I don't
But the snaps.
Yeah, that's true. The snaps are going to be crazy. And you know what? At this point, maybe you can hit a crazy parlay if you parlay Travis Hunter to win offensive and defensive rookie of the year.
Well, here's the biggest thing with Travis Hunter. The biggest thing with Travis Hunter is I know why Jacksonville took him. They know they're not going to be good at football. He's going to put asses in seats. Can this kid do it at not only the high school level, not just the college level? Can he do it up here with the big dogs? And that's the thing that he's been critiqued his whole life on it. He did it in high school. He got to college. Oh, well, this kid can't play both ways. Guess what? He did it pretty fucking well in college for being on the teams he was on. Now he's got to get here and he's got to do it at the highest level. But the thing is I think we've all talked about it at one time or another. How long is Travis's body going to let him do it for?
Yeah, absolutely. And then how long does Trevor have left?
It's not long. Yeah, it's not long. Just for my comments. So I literally have only done one team in this division, and that's ironic because I do think it's a clear-cut favorite, but I don't. I think you guys are both somewhat underselling how high I am on this Houston Texans team. What people don't understand when they try to sell that CJ Stroud is either barely top 10 or barely top 12 is that he regressed last year. And what people fail to quantify is that Diggs went down with injury, that Nico Collins went down with injury, that Tank Dell went down with injury. So basically your all important, your wide receivers are basically going down. And so yes, he did have that sophomore slump, but not in the context of what everybody likes to see.
It's an unfair judgment of a sophomore slump, and as far as I'm concerned, the history books are going to say it's year 3 for him. This is his sophomore year to me. Yes, did he play every game for them last year? Yes, was he on? He was there, believe me. But it's the equivalent of if you showed up to a pickup basketball game and all of a sudden LeBron James walked in.
Yeah,
LeBron James is going to have to try to carry with a bunch of bums.
And realistically, I don't even think you can call it a sophomore slump because yes, the stats dropped a little, but here's the thing. Ultimately, at the end of the day, without having a few of his main receivers for most of the year, without having these guys, he brings them right back to the divisional, the same place they were the year prior. He is still winning at a high level, even when he has nobody, when he's got injuries, it doesn't faze him. He's clearly not fazed by it. He's able to continue to win at a high level. I would not call last year a sophomore slump. I would call it unlucky. I don't know what you expect a quarterback to do when everything goes wrong at the same time. I really think there's not much more he could have done, and I'm just not willing to call it a slump.
Yeah, I'm not willing either, and that when we talk about scary defenses, I think that defense is going to be humming. I'm so high on Will Anderson. I'm high on D'Amico Ryans being that coach there. The only question, like we just mentioned, is if we're going to evaluate him as this being a legitimate sophomore year, is that if he's going to step up, because I do think it's always been a cat and mouse between quarterbacks and defenses throughout their careers, is how a quarterback comes back and really reevaluates what he's seeing on the defensive side, and then if he's going to progress and make that leap of making those advanced reads that I do think that CJ Stroud is highly capable of doing with the talent that is around him. And we'll kind of see where that goes. But literally, like I said, this is the only team I literally put down a predictions for because the Colts are a quarterback carousel and just ugly to watch. I'm sorry for you Colts fans, but Jags are going to be absolute dog, and the Titans. Do we think that Cam Ward is basically being set up for failure, or do we think that what are your guys' thoughts about that? To be honest with you.
I mean, you can read our faces there. I mean, we were in unison with that the whole time. You said, is Cam Ward? And we both shook no because we thought, is Cam Ward going to be the answer? And you changed it up to, is he being set up for failure? Immediately, both of us this way. Listen, Cam Ward you could be the greatest arm talent to ever come out of college. And if you have to play with the Tennessee Titans, you might as well be a Bears quarterback. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's just the way it goes.
I would like to refer you to this. So there's this other quarterback that went to Tennessee, won the Heisman, super, super highly touted prospect, guy named Marcus Mariota. He goes to Tennessee, literally nothing.
Who?
Nothing happens. Marcus
Wait.
Mariota.
He went to Tennessee?
Yeah, to the Titans.
He played for the Titans.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about college.
He was talking. We talked earlier about Bo Nix, another great Oregon quarterback that got his ceiling capped by a coach. You know how that goes. Like, it's crazy. But anyway,
exactly.
Like I said, I don't mean to go back to it, but we talked about the CJ Stroud and the sophomore slump thing. Is guys, he went 10-10 last year, and the year before they were 10-7 last year. The year before, also 10-7. So even if his numbers slipped, wins and losses didn't change. And at the end of the day, as a quarterback, I don't give a shit if you got the worst passer rating in the league. You're measured by wins and losses. So as long as that stays the same, that's what I'm good with. That's why I also have them, crazy enough, 3 seasons in a row, 10-7, dropping to the Rams, Bucks, Ravens, Denver, Buffalo, Kansas City, and then the Chargers. Which, in my opinion, all teams that are above them.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's just one of those things where when you're the Texans, you can only hope to continue to run this division, and I really don't think there's any end in sight for that. Like we already talked about, these other teams, they don't have what it takes. And yeah, you were definitely right about the Titans. It's a situation that you cannot escape. It's an irredeemable pit. It's just impossible to get out of there. Like I said, Marcus Mariota was trapped in that too. And as soon as Marcus Mariota got out and went to a team like Washington last year, he immediately started to thrive. So, it's one of those things where if you get drafted to the Titans, it's almost like getting drafted to the Bears or to the Browns as a quarterback. You are just in trouble.
Hate to sound like a broken record here, but, as much as the AFC South is that way, the AFC East is the exact same way. Buffalo running the division, no one can touch them.
Yeah. Yep, 100%. There is no other team in this division that has a shot. I think the Patriots will make the playoffs this year because I think their schedule is really easy, and I really like Drake May. And I love the new coaching addition of Vrabel. I think that was a great hire. I think he'll be really good for the locker room, and I expect that to transfer into wins. But, I don't think they can touch the Bills. And then I will tell you for certain the Jets and Dolphins won't. The Dolphins have so many problems at the moment. Tyreek Hill is a locker room question mark at best and a cancer at worst. Tua, after Tyreek Hill said he wanted to leave, Tua has already said that the locker room still hasn't worked through that yet. And Tyreek Hill has much more off-the-field issues than that he has to deal with. So there's that whole problem. Tua is a question mark because if he can stay healthy, no one knows because he has a concussion every other week. So that's a problem that the Dolphins have to deal with. The locker room's in disarray. There's a rumor that the coach has now lost the locker room. There's a rumor that players don't respect the ownership at the moment. There's lots of rumors, question marks, all swirling in Miami right now, and it's not great. And then as for the Jets, I know Jules feels differently. I love Justin Fields. I'm a big Justin Fields truther, same as him. However, I just don't think that the Jets are the place for him to showcase that. He does have weapons in Garrett Wilson. He's got Breece Hall. But ultimately, you need God to succeed in New York, and I just don't know if he has everything he needs yet in order to do well for the Jets. So for me, I think Bill's clear-cut.
So with that comment, Justin Fields is God, by the way. So Justin Fields, listen, guys, when you come out of a school that basically isn't known for being a quarterback, basically a quarterback university, right? And you're coming out into the Chicago Bears. We both mentioned that Justin Fields is basically should be set up for the Chicago Bears for success. They never build around him. As soon as he leaves and goes to Pittsburgh, oh, Caleb Williams, yes, he's the second coming. Like, we're going to give you everything you need. Guess what? They still weren't shit. So as soon as Justin Fields is being plugged into the QB for your Pittsburgh Steelers, what you talked about teams wins and losses. What was his team record when he was the starter there?
I want to talk about it.
Oh, okay. So
I listen again. You guys know my opinion. We've talked about this plenty of times. I wish that was my quarterback of the future. Motherfucker didn't have the greatest numbers. Wasn't ideally going to be a top 10 quarterback. But at the end of the day, what did he do? He fucking won games. He didn't lose it. Like, he won games.
That's all I'm saying.
Unfortunately, he plays for the New York Jets. And if Aaron Rodgers couldn't get it done with the same company, Justin Fields and bum-ass Ohio State quarterback coaching sure as hell ain't going to get it done.
Justin Fields is different. He's been different. He's been sledded all his life, and he will bring this team closer to 500 than what you guys, I think. I think
next year. I think next year, maybe.
That's fine.
I'll give you next year. This year's going to be this year, learning curve. And that's if Garrett Wilson doesn't turn into George Pickens.
I don't necessarily think he will. I think Garrett Wilson is slowly becoming one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL, and that's not like bias. I do think that's he's just because of the situation of him being on the Jets is unfortunate. I do think he's put up really solid numbers, basically like top 10 receiving yards every year that he since come out. His catch radius is completely insane. I think he's severely undervalued. Where I find the most difficulty in this team is their running game and their offensive line. You mentioned Breece Hall. I've never been high on Breece Hall. He's always been injured, unfortunately, and the offensive line is lackluster at best. And Justin Fields is now going to be continuously, like his whole career, have been running for his life behind the pocket. So, again, as soon as a team can constructively give him a good offensive line and multiple weapons, we're going to see Justin Fields take this step. And now he did it with DJ Moore for a season, right? We saw him. We were able to see him run around and lead to impact of winning, like we care about so much with the Steelers. There should be some compilation of him at least taking another step forward for a team that he definitively is going to be the quarterback for the future.
Well, I want to backtrack on the whole Breece Hall thing, because let's be real. Did anybody expect a running back out of Iowa State to make an impact at all at the NFL level? No. Did anybody think that he was going to do anything well with a non-mobile quarterback in Aaron Rodgers? Who knows? Like I said, learning curve year. Justin Fields could be exactly what Breece Hall needs. If they can get into a speed option type, playbook into their playbook they already have, like I said, the biggest thing for Justin Fields is, one, you have to learn to be a better quarterback. You have to learn how to deliver the football better at times into its zones that you need to be. Two, he needs to just have more confidence in his pocket, even though he doesn't have a pocket. More of a pocket than Joe Burrow will ever have in his career, but a pocket nonetheless.
Okay.
So my thing with it is like, it's going to be a learning curve here. He has weapons now. He has a comparable head coach. It's just, like I said, it's just not their year. Sorry, Dallas Cowboys fans, not yours either. But it's not their year. They have to learn. They're just going to have to learn. Defense isn't great, but isn't bad. They're going to finish somewhere in that, 12 to 19 range. They'll be okay. Offense will probably be a lower half offense. Justin Fields will be scrambling for his life. We could see something immaculate. He could actually lead their team in rushing this year.
I wouldn't be mad at that, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't be shocked at it, to be honest.
I wouldn't be shocked either. Jaden Daniels led Washington in rushing last year. It just kind of depends on who your running back is, ultimately.
Yeah,
but so like I said, to conclude the AFC East, everyone clear-cut Buffalo, 13-plus wins, going to easily win the division. I think, for the most part, all of us have New England finishing in second, fringe wild card, if not last wild card spot.
Yep.
Yeah, around 500.
Yeah,
I
I mean, like I
have
said,
them going 11-6, but so I'm a little higher. But
it's a big proving year for a lot of these like second, third teams and divisions. Like we have clear cut last place teams in probably every division. So it's like it's who's going to fringe into the wild card. Are these going to be the teams of the wild card that we've seen for the past years, or is somebody going to shock us? Like I said, at the end of the day, these are just our predictions. But at the end of the day, I think all of us as sports fans, not just fans of our own team, as sports fans, it'd be nice to see fresh faces. Are they going to do anything in the playoffs? Probably not, but they could make some noise. I mean, Retro, your Commanders last year, shocking the Lions. Like, who would have ever thought the Lions were touted to be that Super Bowl team instead of the Eagles? Like, that's why I love football. We never really know what's going to happen, but we have a really good idea about what's going to happen.
and with Washington last year, I mean, we were projected to win 5 games before the season started. Jaden Daniels comes into Washington, lights the league on fire, and then we were projected to lose to the Buccaneers. Most people picked against Jaden Daniels. We beat them on a field goal. Then we were projected to lose to the Lions, and we destroyed them at their home. So, it's one of those things where if you get the right rookie at the right time, everything can change for your organization.
I don't even think it's the right rookie. I think it's just the right piece. If you can get the right piece, if he fits your scheme, does his job well, and not to mention JD5, hell of a leader. Like, if you can get a guy who's got a team excited to show up and play every week, and they're actually competing in every game, who knows? Like, maybe that is Drake May for New England. Maybe that's his role. Maybe in his true rookie, his second year, though, like, maybe that is what he will do for the Patriots. And I think that's what we're all hoping to see him do.
Yeah, and with Mike Vrabel being added to the team, that's going to add even more like raw energy. A guy that's willing to go out there and fight for his guys. We even saw like in a preseason training camp when Washington and New England were scrimmaging. Mike Vrabel, there was a fight, and Mike Vrabel gets right in the middle of the fight and gets bloodied up. He's not afraid to go in there and fight for his guys, and I respect that a lot. I think that his guys relate to that. Mike Vrabel was a player. Mike Vrabel is not afraid even now to get involved, and I think you're right with Drake May and his leadership. I really think the Patriots locker room might go back more to that Patriots way type Belichick style of we're going to win.
I was almost going to say it's just going to be a new chapter. They're going to turn the leaf. We're officially turning the page. Hopefully this year is the official page turning of the Belichick era ended. We're out of the dark era. Mike Vrabel. Next chapter.
Yeah, and remind me, Retro, where did Mike Vrabel go to college?
Mike Vrabel go to college? Oh, I don't even remember that.
I'm just going to take a stab in the dark and say Ohio State University.
The Ohio State University. Go ahead.
Yeah. Did you know that every college is a the because it's the only one of its kind?
Yeah,
no.
One with the aura to pull it off, though.
Anyway, well, boys, that's gonna wrap our AFC. That's gonna wrap the AFC for us. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'd like to have a little bit of a talking point, and I kind of had this thing that I've been really pondering for a while, and it's not so much the make football violent thing again, but it's more so like, what should and shouldn't constitute an illegal hit? Like, me personally, I'm all for, like, the big hits and the this, that, and the other, but, like, my personal opinion for an illegal hit should be uncatchable balls. If the ball is past a receiver, if it's like I said, just things that are just like, if it's dropped and he gets hammered. But like my position on it is, defenseless receiver needs to go out the window, because if you got somebody high pointing like Devontae Adams, one of the best high point guys in the league, right? He's going to go up there, he's going to out jump you, he's going to bring the ball down. Jamar Chase going to do the same thing. You're telling me I got to wait for him to land, turn, and look at me to put a body on him? I think fair game. Once it touches the fingertips, because you're taught as a receiver, I don't know if you guys know, but if you're taught, if you break it, you bought it, you tipped it, you caught it. You touch the ball, you catch the ball. So my thought behind it is, as a defender, as they have all these rules to follow now, can't do their jobs of denying the ball. So my thing is, as soon as a receiver touches a football, they're fair game. Receiver, running back, even this bullshit trick plays that these teams pull out. If it's a quarterback, if you go downfield past the line of scrimmage and you're going for the ball and you touch that ball, you are fair game.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm in agreement.
I don't disagree.
I'm in agreement because obviously by my jersey, I'm being a Seahawks fan.
Big
that
Legion
would
of Boom guy.
Absolutely, and that's what that's going to be my talking point is basically most of these all-time defenses, not just including the Legion of Boom, but like the early, like the 2000s Ravens, the 49ers, the early, like the earlier Cowboys, and
2000s
that,
Eagles, Monsters of Midway, like you can go
yeah,
on and on and on. Monsters of Midway
name
2.0.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially these defenses wouldn't be defenses. Or even to shout out your Steelers in like the
We would
early
not have
2010s.
defensive Hall of Famers if these rules were in play now. There would be no great
Yes,
Palomalu, there would be no great Harrison. Even like guys like John Lynch, Ty Law,
right.
these guys made a living off of hitting people as soon as it got there. The
Yeah.
decletions. I'm not, like I said, I'm all for the safety, and we have a lot of concussion protocol problems. My thought behind it is, though, is you gotta, if these guys are getting paid multi-millions of dollars to do their job, let them fucking do their job.
Yeah, and I mean, even other big hitters, you got guys like Sean Taylor, for example. When Sean Taylor was on the field, everybody knew he was coming to decleat you. He was coming to take you off your feet. There's that famous clip of him in the Pro Bowl. In a game that doesn't even matter, he's looking to decleat somebody. So when you have guys like that who make it their game to decleat people as soon as they get the football, that needs to be allowed. It has to be. You're right. I should not have to wait for Devontae Adams, who's one of the best possession receivers that we've seen, to catch the football and drop down before I finally get to hit him. There's no way. I should not have to wait for all that. As soon as his hands touch that football, I should be able to go up there right with him and tackle him and get it out of his hands. I shouldn't have to wait.
Yeah,
Like
I'm with it.
like the whole, like I can get behind, like, yeah, leading with the crown of your helmet, that's going to get you hurt. Sure, you can definitely give the crowning penalties. I'm all for it. But if somebody goes up for a ball and they touch it and they're still on their way up, quick slant across the field, if a linebacker catches a slot receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously a lot of people's best slot receiver in the game right now, right? Like,
Right.
quick guy, good footwork, good height, good hands. He comes across the middle, and you want to tell me I have to wait an extra half second to touch this guy who's got great footwork, elite speed, and he can just blow by me because I can't touch him? That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when you like, and like you said, Amon-Ra's a great example. Michael Thomas 2.0. If you've got Michael Thomas 2.0 coming over the middle, and you know that he's going to make the catch because it's a slant and that's his route, you should be able to, as soon as that ball touches his fingertips, boom. Like, make it so that the quarterback is scared to throw him the football over the middle. They're called hospital balls for a reason. There's a reason why those footballs are called that. It's because you shouldn't be throwing those balls, because you should know that if you do, there is a chance your receiver will literally go to the hospital because they will get decleated. That does not happen much these days. I think, and I think it's great that like injuries are less now, but it should not be encouraged that footballs are going over the middle. That's not a thing that used to happen. I think that it doesn't make sense for people not to be able to stop the receiver from catching the football, even if it is in a precarious situation like over the middle.
Yeah, and it's basically, and that's what I've struggled with watching football the past couple years, is basically the softness that is coming through, and again, Justin pointed it out, is like I'm for helmet to helmet hits. I care about people who have CTE and the unfortunate mishaps of some of these alumni that have played the game, but they are willingly going into a game to put their body on the line, and they're making millions of dollars for it, and they're really good at fucking doing it. So if somebody's job is going to try to tackle you with all their might and to do the best of their ability to bring you down, why is it going to be then a rule to basically tell us I cannot do my job? You're physically telling me I cannot make money because I'm not doing my job anymore. My impact to winning the football game is now significantly less, and now I cannot make as much money. And it's insulting for people who are all-time greats or all-time great defenders. We mentioned a couple a couple minutes ago. I said I just feel so unfortunate for people, for a guy like Nick Emmanwori, who was just drafted, who's getting basically compared to Cam Chancellor already, who's 6'3", 200 pounds legitimately, who's an athletic freak, and he's not going to be able to lay someone out because one of let's say Devon Witherspoon got beat on a go route or an in or something like that. You're asking these guys, yeah, don't do your job anymore. Just let the football players, let the offensive player catch the ball and then two-hand touch. It's completely disgracing the game, and I feel very strongly about this for the past couple years. So I'm glad that we're bringing it up right now.
And the one, like I said, Steelers fan, near and dear to my heart. As much as it hurt to see it happen, he's the reason that he doesn't have a career anymore, is Ryan Shazier. He led with his head directly into somebody's tailbone. He just hit wrong. It slipped the disc, broke his back, left him in a state of where it hurts, because Ryan Shazier could still be playing right now. Could be a great piece for our team. Could be a great piece for another team. But if you learn the fundamentals of football, they teach you to lead with your shoulder, keep your head up, and drive through. You put the shoulder in their chest, you put your head in their armpit, and you drive until you hear a whistle. It is what it is. It's unfortunate the way it happened. But like I said, I mean, these guys want to make it safer and safer and safer. Just don't lead with your crown. Because let's be real, at the end of the day, people don't like seeing people on the injury charts, and people don't like seeing people hurt or this, that, and the other. But I'll tell you right now, the NFL would rather see receivers with broken ribs than see CTE protocol on any team's fucking injury reports.
I agree. But anyways, guys, like with our final couple minutes, we do have a little bit of time, but we want to implement basically some day in sports history to kind of grab the kind of the historical aspect of sports, why we come together, and the historical aspect of basically sports in general. So Justin, I believe you have the fact of the day, and we can kind of talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, as of the date today, for us being the 11th, it is the 106th birthday of the Green Bay Packers. 1919, founded by Curly Lambeau. So in 2 years, they'll be as old as the Cubs World Series drought.
Yeah, man.
Fucking Christ.
Shout out the Packers, man. The Packers, long history of success, long history of Hall of Fame players, great coaches, great quarterbacks. The only organization that a normal person can just buy ownership in.
Fan-owned franchise, real cool. And I mean, I think we've talked about this before with Green Bay, is like these teams that are struggling, like these teams that are bottom of their division and looking for an answer, Green Bay might actually be, like, they maybe should deep dive the history books and go back and look, because let's be real, like, they don't have to do the whole fan-owned franchise thing, but Green Bay has always been a decent team. They've always had good players, always had a good coaching staff for the most part. They've always been able to make things work, and they've always, in my eyes, I don't know about you guys, as much as I don't like them, they've always done things the right way.
Yeah.
I think Green Bay is always looked upon as an organization you want to be like. I think Green Bay has always been looked on as a team that, like you said, it's good coaching, good play. They're always very solid. And they're a team that, you definitely want to try to emulate. Not teams like the Browns or the Giants or the Jets, that are where they're at. You want to be like a team like the Packers.
Yeah, to me, I don't know if I would want to be a quarterback of a certain Packers team to go 1-4 in an NFC Championship. However, I would say if I wanted to emulate a team, I would have a no-name receiver like Jermaine Kearse mossing a team to lead himself into a Super Bowl. But anyways, I would say that I think basically the Packers have been a model franchise for a long time, but we do have to put in the effect that they're probably the most spoiled franchise in NFL because of all the quarterbacks that they've had. Well, they've only had Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Bart Starr.
Spoiled franchise.
Yes.
Can you tell me where any of those three quarterbacks got even an eighth of the flags that Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are getting? Because I'll wait. Because guess what?
Ooh.
They can have all the QB talent in the world, but guess what, Mr. 12th man? Your 12th man is your fans. Their 12th man wears a different colored jersey on the field. So I don't know
That's
what
fair.
you want.
I want them to be
We
better.
had this lovely, kind of a glaze session for the Packers. It's their birthday.
Oh,
We're
we
trying
all
to...
hate the Packers. Like,
No, but Jules just jumps in with the Tremaine curse thing.
Yeah.
Jules is just gonna jump into it because that day they had the 13th man and they got a fail Mary to go up. But I mean, that's semantics.
Who won that game?
On a fail Mary on a wrong call, unfortunately, your Sea Chickens.
You just
Sea
pissed
Chickens.
off so many Packers fans with that.
Bro,
They'll get over it.
Bro, that's the thing though. You ever notice it? It's kind of crazy to me. Is like some of these like situations happen to Green Bay. You got the Des Bryant rule. You got the fail Mary. Like, I feel like Green Bay's always at the forefront of like the controversy, and like they're 50-50 on it. Like, still think Des caught the ball, but like, sorry, Cowboys.
He didn't catch that shit.
Sorry, Cowboys.
No.
It'll be your year next year, or this year, or you'll believe one of those things.
That whole division kind of has like weird miracle things. Like the Vikings had the Minneapolis Miracle, so they're having good stuff happen for them. Obviously, you talked about the Packers. You've got the Lions have just kind of had a weird history of just random things occurring.
We'll chalk the Lions up to all Calvin Johnson's knockdowns at the end of games on defense.
And then you've got the Bears, who literally just had the Hail Mary on them from my boys last year. So the whole division's low-key just kind of like weird
Hail
stuff.
Mary, double doink, like, we can go
Cody
on.
Parkey.
Sorry.
Hey, and for our resident... Yeah, for our resident Bears fan, I'm definitely going to send this to you. Gumby, I love you, but Cody Parkey's probably the best kicker of all time just for that. Thank you.
But no, and the Vikings, they didn't have just the Minneapolis Miracle. I want to say, there was the Justin Jefferson catch against the Bills where he has that like miracle, in my opinion, the greatest catch I've ever seen. So,
or are you talking about what is it? Is it the Diggs one against the Saints?
Yeah,
where he takes his helmet off in the end zone? That was
So they've already had in recent times 2 miracles. They're like the only team in the division whose miracles actually go for them instead of against them.
I'm not obviously Steelers. I'm a Steelers fan, but as a football fan, dude, when he broke that tackle, got into the end zone, and took his helmet off, bro, I had that feeling, bro. I was like, damn, good for y'all. Like that was a hell of a game.
Dude, that's how I felt after the Hail Mary last year. When we beat the Bears, I was like, oh my gosh, we finally got something to happen. Like, yeah.
For sure. And hopefully, like within the next couple years, that we're seeing JD5 lead you guys further and further in the playoffs, and hopefully you guys have some success because the Commanders have had it rough.
He's already got more the same amount of playoff wins in his career as Dak Prescott, who's been playing for 8 years. So you know what?
Here's the thing. That's the thing behind it is we're all sports fans and we want our teams to win, but I feel like when you see like, I don't know if we can call him a quote-unquote generational talent yet, but when you see guys trending in that direction, like, at the end of the day, like, you just want to see what's good for him. I mean, like I said, Retro, I feel for you. Like, you guys had your generational talent once, and now you're getting a second chance at it. Like, the RG3 thing was heartbreaking for everybody because he was great, he was doing things, he was so good, and then misfortune strikes, and it's like, damn. That's crazy. Yeah, so, like, the fact that, like, you guys are getting a second chance, like I said, I hope it works out for JD5. Best to him. Like,
I blame Seattle. Misfortune struck against Seattle. I blame Seattle.
Yeah, rip. But with that, guys, that's our pilot episode. I want to thank the future viewers. I want to thank Retro and Justin. We're finally going to get this done. Hopefully, we'll be talking about the NFC next week, and we'll be talking about our projections then. And then it's basically football season from there, guys. So we'll kind of get our things. Excited. So again, thank y'all for hopefully watching, and basically let us know if we don't know ball. I'll let you guys please tell us. All right, bye bye.